Hello, teacher friends. My name is Monica Genta, and I am real excited that you are here today for another incredible episode of the Teacher Vlog. Today, I have invited my friend Eric Crouch onto the episode, and his brain is wired in a way that I can't even comprehend. He is a teacher who is known for being insanely resourceful. He can transform something ordinary into something absolutely extraordinary like that. And he is sharing 2 ideas to help you crush it in the classroom. At the end of the episode, I want to share something that I am insanely passionate about. Eric's passionate about resources, I'm passionate about relationships, and I want to tell you more about that. But for right now, let's get rolling with today's episode.
I don't know if I can go 10 minutes. Whew.
You got this.
25.
You got this.
Woo! I got 4 hours worth of material. Let me see if I can give you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, we're with Eric right now, and he's got 4 hours worth of material to share with us in approximately under 10 minutes. And I think he can do it because he's talking about how to be resourceful. So now this is going to be a good practice in being resourceful with time.
Yes,
Eric,
the most precious resource.
You are amazing, and I'm so excited to have you on here. How are things going, man?
I didn't realize how much I missed sweating until I got to do it again. And now I'm over here going, ooh, this doesn't feel too bad. Like, I've shed the jacket, shed this. You know, we all as teachers show up with all of our scarves and, like, multi-layered outfits. And then
our cardigans.
Duty, we're like, okay, this has got to come off. It's hot.
Yeah.
But, hey, you won't hear me complain. That's why I chose to live in the South. I enjoy the warmth. So, hey, more power to you. Let's keep it warm. So
I hear you, man. And I'll tell you, this is like the worst like dad joke ever. I'll tell you what's hot are these tips that Eric's about to give. Oh my God, so cheesy. No, but seriously, we are really excited because as I watch you on Instagram and I see your Insta stories and just knowing you as like a friend, you come up with these ideas and I'm thinking like, what? That is incredible. You are ridiculously innovative and resourceful. And I'm really excited to hear your first idea because it's about cassette tapes.
Yeah, so my dad's a hoarder, and so he likes everything. And so as a child, you had to figure out how to make something out of, nothing. And so I wasn't privileged to a lot of vacations and a lot of unique experiences. So the experiences I had were the ones I created at home. Okay. So a cardboard box became anything. Everything was fair game. And so my librarian was coming down the hall, and she just knows we're notorious for taking things apart. She's like, hey, I got this old cassette player. Your kids want to take this apart? Because we'll take it apart, turn it into nonfiction writing activity. We'll do labeling. Kids will make up names for the parts. Then they'll put it back together. It's an incredible adventure. And so she was like, I just figured before I threw this away, and somebody found out, and I didn't ask you if this was something you'd be interested in. And I was like, well, of course. Yeah. I have no plans, and so I take it in, and it's this big old bulky thing. Kids like, ooh, what's that? And it was like, it's a time machine. Yeah. Right? I'm just kidding. It is, but it's not. And so she goes, well, you wouldn't by chance want the tapes for it either, would you? And I was like, well, I don't really have a use for it, but I mean, I guess that would make sense. So I was like, give them to me. So she gives me this lovely box, which any of you that live
oh my God,
have
that
seen
is my life.
This. And if you have, you know this, right? So you're like, oh man, the smell of cassette tapes, right? Yes. So we were sitting there one day, and it just hit me. It said, why not use this as a writing assignment? How can we make something out of nothing here? And so one of the kids was talking about this game they were playing online. And I said, oh, I got a game for you. I said, how about this? Try this on for size. I bet you can't write about what's on this tape, right? So making an inference, maybe use context clues, whatever you got to do, but you can't listen to it until after you write about it. And then you can compare it. So he was like, all right. And I said, well, to make it more interesting, let's blindfold you, and you just randomly pick a tape, and you just get what you get, right? Yeah. And what better way to make some fun and have a great writing task than to give a kid this opportunity to reach into a time machine here.
Literally.
And pull out whatever in, creation is in there. And so like this one is the music of Mac Huff, Broadway legend, Learner.
Obviously.
And you're like, okay, well, obviously this is going to be fantastic. And side A is the complete performance, and side B is the accompaniment only. And he was
Lovely.
like, I don't know what that is. He's like, $35? This was $35? And so he goes on to write this story about how this tape came to be. And everybody, well, it wasn't just him. Well, the whole class was doing it, but my students were just enthralled with what was on these tapes. So we then spent the rest of the afternoon placing the tapes in, listening to it. When the funniest part was one of the tapes had been recorded over where a kid was doing like a book report, and he had recorded over one of the cassettes.
Nice.
And he's like, my name is Walter something, da 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 da, and all the kids just busted out laughing.
Yeah.
And so it was just a fun way to incorporate writing in the things that are right there in your building, probably just collecting dust.
I love it.
But it's free, and as you know, free is in our price range.
I love that statement. Yes, free
we have
is
no
in your
money,
price range.
so free is in our price range. And so that was just one. But I have another one I'm really excited about.
But wait, I have a question real quick.
Okay, give it to me.
The most important thing that I need to know about your cassette tapes is, did you find either Jock Jams or Barry Manilow on cassette?
No. But they found something at the Hootenanny, and that just threw them all for a tizzy. They're like, what's a Hootenanny? And they were all over. They're like, oh, can we trade tapes? And so it was just great to watch them interact with things that they probably would have discarded. And I try to help them understand that there's a difference between really looking at something and just kind of glancing at it. And so a lot of times we miss so many great things because we assume that it's not for us, and we just walk on past it. Yeah. And we do a lot with photos and different documentations, and I'll clip just a piece of a photo and have them analyze it, and then I'll reveal that there's actually more to the photo. And a lot of times it's great perspective taking in what we value and what we see as valuable and how we perceive what we see. A lot of them would have just ignored this, and it turned into a wonderful activity. And so now I've kept it for other classes and other teachers. And when other teachers heard the kids talking about it, they took it and borrowed it, and they did it in their class, and their kids had a great time with it. And they borrowed the cassette player and played the tapes, and it was just all around good fun.
Amazing.
All around writing. And it's just one way to build some community with your learners. So,
yes, love it.
Okay.
All right, so what's the other one? Because this one, I know that you've got some long-term plans on it, so you're going to give us, like, the pitch of this idea.
Yes. So we found that we were wasting a lot of materials. We have an engraver, and so sometimes there's a lot of waste. And so the waste was just going into a scrap bin, and then eventually it was getting tossed out. And so one of the kids comes up with this idea that we should use the little bit of scraps and cut these little small tokens. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is a Wildcat token because we're the Wildcats. You know how it is. If you're the Beavers, you're going to have a Beaver token. And so he wanted to just give this out as a way to show kids that, it's a PBIS strategy that they're all part of, anyway. And they've become self-aware, but they're like, hey, this would be way cooler than a little piece of paper or a digital point, right? This is a piece of wood. And so it was like, okay, we could do that. So we did that for a little bit. And then he comes up with this idea that maybe we could do something different. Instead of it being something that they earn and trade in for something else, and it becomes kind of an extrinsic system, what if we just told people how amazing they were? And so he came up with this idea for this "You Are Amazing" card.
Love it.
Which you can cut into any size piece that you have, but it's just a finger pointing at you. It says, "You are amazing." And on the back, there's just a little note that lets the person who got it know that it wasn't an accident. That somebody put this card here just for you because we think you're amazing. And so the idea was to help kids understand that other people see the beautiful things that they do. And this is a great way for someone to be able to share that with someone without having to think about a reward in the end, but just to know that somebody thought enough of you to say, hey, I see what you're doing, and we think it's great. And it's one of their peers. And so, I'm super excited about
all of that awesome came from a scrap bin.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that it comes in. It could come from any place at any time, at any moment. But what we have to do is always make sure we don't close the door.
Right.
And I think that's what happens a lot of times. You see something go out. I mean, obviously my dad's level of hoarding is one thing and mine another. But at some point you start to appreciate the value that every person has. Mm-hmm. And when you can appreciate what every person brings to the table, you can start to appreciate all of the things that are around you and how they came to be. By the way, just a quick snafu. Let's just say you hate cassettes and you decide you don't want it. Ever want a great way to organize your headphones? These little cassette tapes, they're free, and your headphones can go in them, and they're stackable, and they go right into any of these, like, nice boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, boom.
There you go.
Put a 2x4 label on there. Boom. You've got storage. Hey, look, you want to put them back in the old wooden case? You got it, dude. We got it. We got cassette tapes galore. Just throw them in there.
Yeah, why not?
But it's about understanding and seeing the beauty in things. And so I think that's it. And I think when you get your mind to that place, the learning in the room goes to another level.
I love it. I call this resource remixing, taking resources and completely remixing it for something that it wasn't its original purpose, but then like
to go with it.
Remix, like on those cassettes. Straight up, he's good. I mean, this guy is good. His brain just creates things what feels like out of thin air. In fact, check out what he made me. Talk about resourceful. This is paper clips welded together to form my name. It says Genta. He made this for me. I'm like, dude, resourceful. He is just such a good guy, and I love what he is doing in the classroom. He is passionate about being resourceful and remixing things. I am passionate about relationships and remixing what education should be when it comes to building insanely strong relationships with students. In fact, I recently gave a TED Talk about this, and I would be honored if you would check it out. The title of the TED Talk is How Starbucks Could Save Education. Now you might hear that and think, oh, what does Starbucks and education have to do with relationship? And I would argue everything. Check out the episode notes for a link to that TED Talk and a link to hanging out with Eric so you can learn more about all the resourcefulness that is happening in his classroom. Friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, subscribe, and share this with your teacher friends. Get into your classroom, have an amazing time with kids this week, and remember, hey, you got this.